Another reason not to vape.
Apparently it makes your botox ineffective. The founder of one of Australia's biggest cosmetic surgery chains says the nicotine in e-cigs reduces the effectiveness of fillers.
New Sellies No More Gaps Fast Dry.
Something about restricting blood vessels and breaking down collagen means the dream isn't always the reality.
It's not that bad.
Dr. Vivek Aranki, who founded Cosmetique in Perth in 2017, says 50% of his clients risk temporary results only because they vape.
Well, the yes vote would take those odds.
October 14 is the date for the referendum. Anthony Albanese formally announced it in Adelaide today, that's Wednesday.
Every Australian will have a once-in-a-generation chance to bring our country together.
Could have done it anywhere in the country but picked South Australia because their votes will be pivotal to the outcome. Same reason he gave the Crow Eaters the submarine project. Means we're trusting the fate of the voice to a state whose cultural contribution begins and ends with Cooper's Pale Ale, and the nation's defence to the engineers whose greatest achievement thus far has been the Holden Chimera.
6 weeks to go.
It'll feel like 60. I don't know what's going to be achieved in the next 40 days that already hasn't. The No campaign will just stick with the effective scare campaign about how it's all too uncertain.
It is risky, it is unknown, it is divisive, but it is also permanent.
And the Yes campaign will stick with the thus far ineffective counterclaim that if you don't know, ask some questions and find out.
And therein lies a problem.
When people who are unsure do ask questions, they still can't get the answers they're searching for.
If it is to be said, so it is.
Are you all right?
People want to know how the voice will work in practice before they vote yes. They want to see under the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
Actual granular detail about why this will improve outcomes, how we'll collect the views of so many different language groups, how we'll funnel those views to Canberra in an orderly fashion and in a way that everyone feels they're being heard.
Hey, Mr. Prime Minister! Andy! Aye, mate.
How this will be different to the many consultation processes and feedback loop mechanism we already have in place and which already guide policies affecting Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders. And every time Anthony Albanese gets asked these questions...
Sorry, I'm not sure what it is.
He keeps talking in vague, generalist motherhood terms, saying it'll be up to the Parliament to determine how the voice works.
And a lot of people aren't satisfied with that answer.
We have become a lot more cynical since 1967. In that referendum, 90% of Australians voted to give the Commonwealth power to make laws for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and we didn't turn ourselves inside out demanding to know what the laws would be before we said yes.
What is this with all these questions?
The rules of the game have changed, but Albanese is refusing to adapt to them.
So what's he got to do in the next 6 weeks?
I reckon if the voice has any chance, he must explain at least how he thinks it might work. He can give himself some wiggle room here, but he's got to put some meat on the bones. Hakuna Matata ain't cutting it.
You gotta put your behind in your piss.
No. I mean, amateur.
If he doesn't fill the information vacuum, someone else will.
If you don't know, vote no.
And it won't be just the voice on the line, it'll be his prime ministership.
High stakes game.
It's not only in politics where people are playing those. Unions representing workers at the Gorgon and Wheatstone LNG plants have just put a gun to Chevron's head. And it's quite the firearm. The Offshore Alliance, which is a joint venture of the MUA and the AWU, has served Chevron with notices saying they're going to launch work bans and 10-hour stoppages starting next week.
And they're serious?
Serious as a heart attack. The international energy market certainly thinks so. Wheatstone and Gorgon between them supply 7% of the world's LNG. When news emerged that September 7 was the line in the sand, the market got very worried. Gas futures, they're the contracts that try to predict what's going to happen in the future, spiked 10%. The possibility of 500 FIFO workers in the Pilbara going on partial strike was enough to blow up billions of dollars in financial deals. Chevron's hoping it can emulate Woodside, which walked out of a 15-hour negotiation with the Offshore Alliance with a deal.
Expensive deal.
Oh yeah. If you work on the offshore platforms feeding Woodside's Northwest Shelf project, you will now be on a minimum of $300,000 a year. And if you're a Sparky, it'll be closer to $370,000.
That's more than a federal member of parliament.
$150,000 more, even with the pay bump the MPs just got.
You're in the wrong line of work.
I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.